Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I am going to press H, just like that. You see how I did that? You see how I did that with precision and control? I've now pressed H, and the hired help has already decided to go and leave a tiny, tiny little spot behind. Just to try to... Really? What exactly is it that you're trying to do? You're going to get caught up on the... No, he's avoided the wall. Okay, that was very weird. I'm actually thinking, okay, he can stay there and he can carry on and do what he's got to do. I'm actually thinking that it might be an idea to put a bit of a wall along here to stop him doing that again. Because we don't really want them doing that. And we've got the... We do have the bits of wall, so we could actually run something down there. And that way he's not going to go out quite so far. He should do his turning a little bit further in. And he's also highlighted the fact that tractors could come down over and smash straight into the structure right there. Which, again, is something that we really don't want them to do. Now, I do have to get going today with spreading the fertilizer. We want to get up into this field up here. And we want to get started with spreading fertilizer up there. So that's one of our priorities. Actually, I'll tell you what, we will... go and get started with the fertilizer first, so that we've got that one running. I will need to manually go around the edge once first with the tractor, then we can reload the fertilizer, and then once we've done that, we can... Now, I guess the problem really is going to be going up the hill over here. That's going to be our main problem, I think. But anyway, once we've done once around the field... we will then be able to leave the hired help going, and I'm missing a tiny strip on the very outside edge. Honestly, I don't think it matters all that much, but I am missing a slight strip. I know that I'm recording in kilometers an hour at the moment. That is because for the time-lapse series, it's based, it's Estancia La Pacho, and I'm in Paraguay, so everything is metric there. The only currency, really, that I can use for Paraguay, I've got a choice between pounds, euros, or dollars. So I'm using dollars for it, but also kilometers. And if I change kilometers for this, I've got to finish doing the time-lapse recording a bit later. You can guarantee that if I change it to miles an hour on here, I will forget to change it back for the Estancia series, and then it's going to look weird. So I would rather... have this one with the wrong count, because I can explain it in chat. I can chat away and I can explain why it's wrong, whereas that one, it just looks weird if it changes partway through to the wrong the wrong measurement. So that's why I'm doing it. And then in tomorrow's episode, I will have, by the time I record tomorrow's episode, I will have finished recording this week's time lapse, and I will be able to have the correct scale on here for the US. So I hope you can forgive me for this. I hope you can forgive me for this. I am still working on perfecting my audio. Did have a few people point out there's a couple little bits with the audio that just need some tweaking with my audio. The game audio, you said the game sounds are okay. You said the game sounds are about right, and so I'm going to keep working on just tweaking little bits here and there, and hopefully I will get everything working and looking and sounding alright. Yeah, I didn't have any complaints about the visuals. You all said that it looks absolutely fantastic, which I'm really pleased with. I'm absolutely delighted with that, considering all the work that has gone into getting all of this up and running now with the 4K stuff. And yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with the picture. It's been a really, really frustrating week getting everything set up, but I've got most of it done. So it's literally just some fine-tuning on my audio just to make sure that you're getting the best experience possible. I've had a little bit of feedback on that from a few people. So I'm sort of working on it. I've made some tweaks and adjustments for this week, so hopefully it will, you know... Some of you said it's absolutely fine, you don't really notice any difference. There are a few of you who are more... dedicated audiophiles, and I think those are the people that are really only going to be you're only the only ones that are really going to notice any differences and know really what needs to be done as well. So I'm trying to take on board the advice that is being given, and I'm trying to make the necessary tweaks. However, I am not personally much of an audiophile. I do not know very much about it, and so long as I can hear what a person is saying, it sort of doesn't really make a big difference to me. So because of that, it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to really make sure that I've got everything sounding right. I listen to it and I think, well, that sounds fine. But then people will give me some feedback and say, well, it needs this little bit tweaked, it needs this little bit adjusted, just to really make it sound that little bit better. And I'll do it, and I'll notice a difference in the sound, but honestly, I'm not sort of noticing a major difference with it. And it's so... yeah, it's like it. I admit that it does sound slightly different when a slight change is made, but not enough that I would be able to identify beforehand that this change needed to be made or anything like that. So yeah, I do struggle with this a little bit. So bear with me. People who really understand audio and how to tweak audio, please bear with me on this, because I'm really not one of those people. I really don't understand how to tweak audio properly, and all the changes that need to be made. Like, I spend a lot of time on Google looking this stuff up, and I spend a lot of time sort of experimenting with it. I've kind of found settings that I've been advised to use, which I do use on my videos, and it seems to sound alright. I don't really get any complaints about it, so I'm kind of hoping that it does sound alright. But yeah, I'm not really the person. It's difficult. What I'd really like is to be able to pay at some point. I can't do it at the moment, but one day I would actually really like to be able to just pay a qualified sound engineer to come along and spend a couple of hours sitting at my PC with me and saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do this in order to get the absolute best quality audio that you can get. And that'd be brilliant. If that can happen, then that would be absolutely brilliant. And I do know a couple of people who are like a professional level, and that they would be able to do that. So I'm hoping at some point I will be able to get someone round who can just help me just to do the final tweaks and get everything set up and make sure it's perfect. Why are you stopping? You should not be stopping. You should be going straight across right there. I know I've got a line there that's already done. You should be going straight across here. Is it just because of the line, or is there a... I don't think there was a stump there. I think it's just because of that line that goes across the field, and I think that they just decided that was the edge of the field. Ooh, I really hope not. That's going to be bad if that's the case. Right, so we'll let the hired help come out over to the end over here, and then you're going to stop and you're going to turn. You're going to go left now. Ah, he is! He's actually going to go the direction that I want him to go. Just once. Just once. The first time ever he is actually turning in the direction that I want him to go. Miracles never cease. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Off you go. You do what you got to do. I would really love it if you could just continue to do what you got to do. Like that. But yeah, I've with the audio, I've tried like a number of different things, like the mic volume, turning it up and down, and how much I should be working on with actually having my own microphone volume, and whether or not I should be like editing it down afterwards, or I should have the mic volume lower. Just the position of the mic away from me, I think I've got that fairly well figured out now. Just to sort of give the best, because I'm quite loud, and my voice does carry, so I keep the mic away from me a reasonable amount, and that seems to work okay. But there's other little bits, like the incoming mic volume, and then how much it can be edited afterwards so that I don't get any distortion in it. but at the same time still be able to pick things up when I'm sort of really concentrating, and then I sort of go down and I start talking a little bit quieter like that, and just want to bring that in there, and he's going to turn around, and I tend to sort of drop my voice quite a lot, so I know that it varies hugely, and it's all of this. This is the sort of stuff that every YouTuber has got to deal with. Is anybody who's ever recording any kind of voice has got to deal with, but for me, I struggle with it because I really, really don't understand it, and I want to understand it, but and I am trying to understand it. I am sort of getting a little bit of an idea of things that need to be done and how things need to be done. But my biggest problem, like I've said, is that after it's been edited, I don't pick up on the differences between different things unless unless I know like beforehand, right, that's this particular one, and that's the next particular one after this has been done. I really can't tell much difference between them. Whereas I know other people who will listen to it will say, well, that's had that done, and that's had that done. You can clearly hear this, and you can clearly hear that, and I can't identify that. I literally just cannot identify the difference between the two different tracks, whereas other people, they really, really can. They can quite clearly identify between the two. Now, you're going on a little bit, and he's right. It is because of the line down across the field that he's doing that. So it's not the tree stump. We did get rid of the tree stump, so hopefully when it goes to doing other things later on, he's not going to have any issues in there. Now, I'm looking in here. We're going to have in this field, we're only going to be doing this half of the field for the second coat after we've had one lot of grass come through. And then we've also got to do a second coat down there. But he is doing an absolutely wonderful job. So we're going to stay with him a minute. And we're going to go into the shop and we're going to buy a wall. We want to go to decoration down here. And we're going to go through this way. And it's these double walls here. I think, no, it's not. There was another set of walls that we were using. The fences, it's these. This is the ones right here. This is what we were using. We're using the curved wall. So he's going to carry on doing over there. And we're going to ignore him for a minute. And we're going to come down over here. And this is where we need to do a bit of work. So I want to whiz this one around like that. And that's kind of the edge of the bank is right there, isn't it? So we need to bring this one in here, like that. And I want that wall, really, to sort of go like that, don't I? That one will come into there. Like that, I reckon. There, what do you think? What do you think? We put that one in there, and then if I bring that one around a bit more, that's gonna sit over the top of it. It's gonna sit over the top. If I leave it right there, I either need to bring the curve in a bit more, or I've got to sit that one on top like that. I think we'll put that one on top like that. Oop. Placed here. There. Right. That's overlapping enough. Right, that's good. That's overlapping the wall as we want. And then I want to go and have a look at you. You've actually gone right up past the stone all the way through, which is, I'm really impressed that it's done that. And now he's going up to the stone. He's doing this whole thing with the reversing, which he's done down there a few times in a weird way. So that's why I think that there may be a stump down in that field somewhere. So I'm hoping he's going to go to here. Then he's going to turn round. Yes, he is. Turn around in front of the stone. And he's just going to work on this bit. So we've got a little bit of the field in there that we don't need to worry about. We can come back and we can clean that up later. So that's excellent. That is really, really good that he's gone and done that. And this here, you can see the lines from where we were going around with the stump grinder. That's what that line of fertilizer is left behind. I don't know why that is left behind a line with the stump grinder, though, because that wasn't field when we were doing that with the stump grinder. And yet it's still remembered and it's put fertilizer in it, which is really quite strange. I don't know why it does that. I would have thought that it wouldn't count at all. It would just like ignore it. So we had the 60 curve on there. We want the short wall here next, and we want to bring that one around like that, there. And I I want that to like drop down into the ground a little bit. I'll bring the short wall over there. That seems to be lined up reasonably well. Ah, there we go. I can drop it down into the ground a bit more there. Excellent. Because then what I want to do is I want to actually step it up a little bit from there. And I kind of bring it up like that, but we're going to have to, in order to be able to place that, yeah, it's got to overlap. So I got to bring it back over to here. That will work. And I reckon, well, that's as high as we can take it. So we'll take it to that point right there. And that's stepped up a bit. The only bit that I don't like is where it sticks out a little bit down there. But I don't think there's a lot that we can do about that. We'll just have to call that a little feature on the wall. I've seen plenty of features like that in walls before with little bits sticking out. It's like just a little ledge been put in on for 100 different reasons. I've seen things like that, and there really are 1,000 different reasons as to why to do it, but yeah. Okay, that seems to be pretty good down there. We've now got the extra bit of wall. That should stop the tractor from driving right the way across and diving down over the side. We've got the planting still underway down over there. That's doing great, and then if we look on our map on here, we turned around right next to the stone, so we've got a little bit to do the other side of the stone once this is all finished here. He's going to go right up into that corner. I suspect he's going to leave a triangle behind and not actually go right to the corner. And then he will be working all the way across over to here and back up through, and we'll do full runs. Although it does depend a little bit on that. We have got that bit there. I've got one bit here which I will manually do myself later on, just to tidy that up. No, he's actually doing this bit. He's doing this bit just fine. So I'll let that one carry all the way. Well, I do want to just see these gonna. No, actually, I don't really care, to be honest. We'll let that one go. You in here, you have got plenty of seed to finish the field off, so that one will be all okay. That's going to do full runs on the field all the way up to there on the next pass. We can have a look in here and we can check prices right now. It's going to be the next thing. Prices won't change very much just yet. We're $7.56 for wool, $2.57 for silage, and straw is currently 50. So everything is down at the moment. Everything is down. I don't want those. I don't want to sit on these. I want to go to this one. And we actually want to start doing a little bit of work. We are going to... The first thing that we're going to do with this one is we're going to remove these 5 trees close to the edge. I might even go up and remove the 2 below the boulder there, just so that they're away from the edge of the field here. This is a problem. I've also got to right, you're turning that way. You're not turning. Okay, you go like that. You go like that. And you go like that. Okay, I'm just having to remember my controls that I've got set up on here, because it's been actually it's been like a couple of weeks, I think, since a week. It's been a week. It's been a week since I've done anything with this one, so I'm just having to make sure that I've got everything set up. I'm gonna bring you there. That's what I want to do, like that. Put you forward a bit. This is where I find out that I'm not actually on the tree. No, I'm around the tree. It's on the tree. I should be. Oh, wait a minute. No. Because I should be able to press Y and it should do it. Oh, X is cut. Right. Wait a minute. I gotta change the mapping on that one. There's one there on the gamepad control. I've got to change it over. Tool function 3. That's the wrong one. It can't be. It's not tool function 3 at all. So I need to get rid of. Hold backspace to delete. Right, I've got rid of that one. So it's the X. So now I need to go to keyboard controls. Activate hand tool. No, that's not it. It's the press X. That is tool function 2. Pressing X is tool function 2. So then we go back here into this one and we hunt down through here. We go to tool function 2 on here. because that's pressing Y on there, which is changing seed and stuff like that. I use that on my steering wheel, but unfolding stuff, I just use the keyboard when I'm using the steering wheel. But on here, I want my trigger button on my joystick. So there, I've done that one right there. Space to save controls. Okay, that is all saved successfully. Now let's have a look. Aha! Perfect! More wood, cut down 25 trees. Right, I've done that. So, no, I want to do that. And then we will back you up and we will turn you over at the same time like this. What is that tractor doing? Let me just cut this a second. I don't know what that tractor's doing up there. He stopped. He said, I think he's finished. I think he's given up. Yeah, he has. Right, you're still going, but why are you? Oh, I see. He's backed up to the stone. He's not. He hasn't been able to identify that the stone is there for some reason, so he's reversed up to it. That's a little bit peculiar. We'll go and top up the fertilizer a second, and then once we've got a full load of fertilizer, we will run back up and he can carry right on where he left off. And then I can also just check that he's going right the way across the field. If he's not, we'll have to just go down to the other end and sort of finish out those little bits down there. So let's open that and lower it down to fill it up like that. And then we can lift it and close the cover. And then we can go whizzing back up here. We've spent $1,700 on a little bit of fertilizer, which should be used up. I mean, we won't use the entire quantity of fertilizer on his field this time round, but we will use a fair slice of it. Now we can bring you up over to here like this, and away you go. Right, a little bit of overlap on there. That's fine. I don't mind about the little bit of overlap. So let's go back onto here. He is going all the way to the end of the field, so I've just got that bit in behind there. Although, honestly, we could do that on the next time that we do some fertilizing. I've got some bits there that I want to address. That's just where he's not actually gone right up to the stone when doing the original pass of fertilizer. So we need to go there and deal with that bit. So we'll sort that out in a minute. So he's fine. He's absolutely fine. And what's that all about? Okay, that is just weird. That is genuinely just weird. Although I think what that is actually is travelled through, but there's a slight dip in the ground there. I'm wondering if that's what's caused it. So it's not actually like it's supposed to have done it. No, that wasn't it. Yeah, it was. I did wonder if maybe there was a slight dip in the ground and it hadn't like properly done it, but it wasn't that. I don't actually know what that was. That's very strange. I've not seen it do that before, but I know there's something there. I'm pretty sure there's another tree stump here somewhere, and yes, I still haven't enabled the developer tools. There's a thing you do in the file, and I have been told where to do it. It's just that I'm catching up still with all the stuff that I've had going on with getting the new PC set up and like the teething issues that I've had. I've been getting very behind. So I am working on it. I am hoping to eventually catch up and deal with those things as well, so that we can just have a quick look with the wire mesh overlay and see what's going on. Right, you do appear to be going back and doing that, so I'm going to let you carry on and do that. We're not just going to sit and stare at you doing that. What I am going to do is I'm going to sit and stare at this one. So we will bring you round and we will grab that tree right there first. Let's go over this side, because I do function better when I'm on this side like this. So I bring you up like that, and then oops. Okay, I've got these controls slightly wrong, I think. This is what I think. I've got the controls slightly wrong. For the most part, I think I'm actually alright with them. Bring you that way. I want to rotate that one a little bit, like that. There, and then okay, that's good. But the Yeah, I don't know if I got that one right. Just trying to think with the... No, I know why I've got that one wrong. It's because it's on a different... I tried to get it the same as another machine, but it's not. The machine that I'm used to using, it wouldn't use the thing that I wanted to try and get set up anyway. It would use something completely different. It would use a different joystick control. So, no, that's not really going to work. So I was trying to get it close to something I've used in real life to see. You've got no clue what I'm talking about. I'm here trying to explain what I'm doing as though all of you can actually understand completely what I'm doing. And, yeah, none of you will have the slightest, foggiest what I'm ranting on about. I'm trying to explain half the thoughts going on in my mind, and yeah, that's just a bad idea. That's just a bad idea. It's never going to work well doing things like that. But I'm going to bring that one down to there, and I'm going to fire that. I do think I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it. I'm wondering if maybe I've got my controls, because I've got the sideways movement on the joystick set up for that, and I've got the twist movement on the joystick set up for that, which is fine, but I pull the joystick towards me to lift it up, and I push the joystick away to move it down. I'm not sure if that's right. I'm wondering if maybe I should have that the other way round, just to make it go a little bit better. I don't know. I genuinely don't know about that. Like, I'm torn. I'm still getting used to having this extra twist motion on my new joystick. So it's something that I've got to get used to a little bit, and it's going to take a little bit of time. But I think I'm getting there. Do this for a little bit. This is one thing, the one advantage that the gamer has over a lot of the rest of the population, is that we can very, very quickly get used to new controls and new styles of doing things far faster than other people can. And it has been noted that people that regularly use different controllers and play a lot of games, particularly simulator games, it's been noted, do generally fare better with driving and operating different machinery in real life, because we're already used to operating a selection of different controls for different things. So I'm just going to leave the Scorpion there. I'm actually going to leave the Scorpion running, which I probably shouldn't have done. Probably should have switched that one off before I did anything. And have you noticed, again with the steep ground? Again with the steep ground here, we're leaving that tiny little strip right there. There is nothing we can do about that. That strip is, because of the very steep ground, there is literally no sort of way that we can get round that. That is going to be a thing that will always happen on that little bit of steep ground. It's probably going to happen with the mowing and the rest of the stuff as well. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's what we've got. That's what we'll live with. But yeah, it is slightly frustrating that you get these strips left. But I've noticed this. It's not just on this map. It's definitely not the map. It's the game, because it doesn't take into account hills. You get a bit of an overlap with the hired help working. You do get this overlap with it working, and so when it's going over a hill, or working on the side of the hill, that overlap does actually engage, and it stops it from doing anything. Well, not that it stops it from doing anything, it's the overlap is there, and so that the game is looking straight down like this. The game is not, with the hired help, the game's not taking into account the hills. Otherwise, by the end of the field, you'd be sort of going in wavy lines because of the overlap everywhere. So the game doesn't actually take that into account in the slightest. The game looks straight down. It gives you a bit of an overlap to start with, and it hopes that that overlap is enough to account for the hills. So when you're working on particularly steep hills, the overlap that you've been given to start with is not enough. You've obviously got more land going up a hill than you have on the flat, because you've got the bit that rises up as well. And so the hired help is literally just looking straight down, and that's why you get these stripes left behind. So the only way to avoid those stripes is either to set your hired help. You have to go and manually adjust your machinery in the Giant's editor so that the machinery itself reflects a smaller area a smaller work area when being picked up by the hired help. Right? The hired help itself doesn't look at the physical edge of the machinery and where it's working in the field. The hired help has actually got its own separate measurement. So when you're editing a machine in the Giant's editor, say I was editing a mower, for example. The mower has got a working width that you can look at, and you can set the working width, and that you can set that to anywhere. I've already done that. I've edited things out. And you can edit it to a crazy distance if you want. You can have it like 10 times the width of the actual mower, and it will go along and it will cut everything in that width, way beyond the actual physical model. So that's a fairly easy little trick to do with it. We've done all of the fertilizer up here now, so we'll drive this one back down to the main yard. That's a fairly easy trick to go and do with it, right? You can adjust the thing on the model on the Giant's editor, and then you've got a really wide working width, an insanely wide working width, and it can be quite cool to mess around with things like that. But there's another set of measurements that it also takes, and that's the hired help working width. That is another thing that you've got to physically adjust on the actual model itself, because the hired help doesn't take the physical working width that you set. You have a physical working width, and then you've got the hired help working width. The hired help does its own working width, and usually people will set the hired help working width to slightly less than the actual working width, only a little tiny bit. Not always. Some people will set them exactly the same, but you generally will get better results if you set the hired help with slightly narrower than what the actual working width is. But, I mean, you don't need to. There tends to be a mixture of the two with that. And then you've also got, on top of that, you've got another bit where you've got the game itself. When it's got the hired help working in the field, it will find the hired help working width of the machine, and then it will run the hired help with a bit of an overlap on that hired help width. So right here, I've got the hired help working on this field. Right, we've got the standard hired help is doing this, and that's going to come round. It's going to bring it up, and it's not bringing it. Like, you look at that overlap that it's working right there. See, there's quite a big overlap. The hired help itself does identify the outside edge of the machine out here, the same as out this side, but it's giving it an overlap. So when you go working on the side of a hill over there, that overlap, I mean, you put a steep enough hill on it, and then the overlap doesn't exist, because the game is still going to be looking straight down like that and not taking in a hill of any kind into effect. But anyway, that's all we need to worry about that. I've got a little tiny spot over. I'm going to ignore the spots. I've got this little bit left. We will finish that in the next episode, because I have run out of time. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.